definitely there are going to be like some aspects in which you cannot shake it, right? Once you're having clashing upbringings, once this person believes this is the way my mom was treated when I was growing up, I could see this every day and this is how I want to be treated, but then the person that you're in a relationship with says no, but that's not necessary. This is not me. Welcome to Bedroom Diaries, of course, with Danny. Always beautiful, always popping, always shining, regardless of whatever she's going through.
Period.
And me, of course, with my new set of rings.
Right. You're showing up this ring like...
See, it's not like it's a lot, but I just feel, I'm just excited that it's a different set. That's just it.
I actually see people wear rings like this, and I kind of question why I can't do that. I don't know.
Rings like what? Which one?
Like just like wear 4 rings on your hands like this.
See, if I can actually do it, I would have all of them ringed up.
Oh my
Plus
God.
the knuckle
How
rings
do you guys
and all of that.
with it?
It's spice of life. How would you just have plain
There's
fingers?
this name they call it, like, is it, what's this name?
Gothic.
Yeah,
no, those ones have maybe like the darker ones and all of that stuff. Anyway, on Bedroom Diaries, we talk about love and how it relates to us, relationships, and all of those sweet things that delight us once in a while. Because once in a while, we also see shaggy in the relationships that we're doing. You cannot avoid it in any way.
Right.
So, welcome back once again. If you're just joining us for the first time, I mean, if this is the first episode that you're seeing, we have previous episodes. And also you can like, subscribe, and put up just that bell sign. Yeah, it's supposed to notify you whenever we drop a new episode so you wouldn't miss anything. So we're going to jump right into what we're going to talk about today. Today, I just want to say that, look, there's always been this debate between nature and nurture kind of thing where people always argue that, you are this way because of how you were brought up. And people tell you, nah, it's not because of how you were brought up. This is who you are. And then there's always been that going on. Philosophers and, all these people, all smart people, they're always talking about it. But that's not what we're talking about today. But it's just going to be how, to some extent, how that might play its role into your relationship.
Exactly.
Because you cannot deny it. Your upbringing does actually do something in every aspect of your life. But since we're talking about relationships here, that is how we're going to relate. So the other time you were telling me something about one of your friends that Kiniko. I think it was something.
It's a mutual friend of ours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're having this conversation and it was between him and his girlfriend, and he was saying how in his home, when they want to pray, they kneel down and then they pray. Like, it's this kind of like sacred kind of...
As in, if they don't kneel down, they don't believe they're praying.
You're not praying. But then the girlfriend is like, I can literally just sit on my bed and just
pray,
lie
and
down and just pray,
so.
So it kind of like relates to what we're talking about today. You see how that is his upbringing, and it's sort of bringing that into his relationship. Yeah. So both parties already have like,
and they know it's different.
Yes,
so
it's different.
It might now bring up some form of, I don't know, disagreement. It has to be this way, and this one it doesn't. Nah.
Exactly.
So things like that. So that is what we're going to surround our talk up today on.
Yeah, exactly. So upbringing, how it affects
our relationship.
Let's get right into it, guys. While growing up, we are used to the whole family ritual. We're together, we pray together, all of that.
Oh, you guys did things together then?
Yeah. There are even times where my mom would literally take us out, like just on the weekend, just to, school is over, so it's the weekend, we just chill together. So now as an adult, I sort of have that kind of mentality. So in my relationship, I'm secure to that extent of showing that part of me.
So you pretty much usually want to do things with your partner.
I want to do that kind of thing with my partner. Some people might find it as, that's a little bit too extra.
Honestly, if I were to be in a relationship with you, we'll go have problem.
Why?
Honestly, because besides, which is pretty much just a cultural thing or an African thing, whereby the family just does the church thing. Besides church and maybe once in a while school, everyone is doing what they want to do. So we ended up doing our things separately, and we pretty much just lived our lives apart. Just once in a while we come together, just that whole family.
You see, these are the differences. These are the differences that somehow just play in our relationships, and to an extent, it's not like we can't. Especially if you're in a healthy mindset kind of space, or your mental health is intact, you already know that human beings are different, it will not be an issue. But with people like that, they're just in a space where they feel like this is how it should be, they're not ready to be exposed, to to the space of, look,
where new things come up and they're trying to try new things.
It might be an issue, but for me, if I'm in that space, I'm already secure enough to know that this is how I want my relationship to be like.
I think in situations whereby maybe both of you have like clashing upbringings or whatever it is, as long as it's not something that is supposed to cause a real issue, there should be like a meeting point where there's a middle ground you guys can agree on. And that is why it's important that whoever your partner is someone that you can really communicate with and be able to shift grounds, and things will still be fine with either of you. Because if you're not in that kind of space or more, all these little things will be what's causing fights, and honestly, that's really draining. So yeah, definitely there are going to be like some aspects in which you cannot shake it, right? Once you're having clashing upbringings, once, this person believes, this is the way my mom was treated when I was growing up, I could see this every day, and this is how I want to be treated. But then the person that you're in a relationship with says, no, but that's not necessary. This is not me, and all of that. And then it then seems like, you are making me do what I wouldn't do naturally, and it starts looking like, you're forcing me to do this. I wouldn't do this naturally. So in cases like that, of course, the communication comes in. But honestly, the communication comes into everything, really. But then aspects of money, like you mentioned at some points where we're discussing money. What else, really?
So before we get back into that, I don't want to forget this. I was watching a video on social media, and he's a content creator, and he sort of like centers around relationship, like marriage and all of that.
Don't tell me the Winlows, Sha.
No. No, not
because
them.
It was after you told me about the Winlows that I saw their video. I'm like, this is what the Winlows are. These people. I saw the video where they were the woman was speaking on something, and then she said, this is why I love my husband so much. And then started laughing on the stage. I'm like, this is what...
I am proud to be a super fan of the Winlows. Don't get it twisted. But no, this is not the Winlows, but this is a guy. He was... so the video I saw was him he was just talking, and he was sort of like attacking his mom.
Okay.
And he was saying, Mom, why would you shout at my wife for eating? Like, this is a house. If she wants to eat, she can eat whatever she wants to eat, right? And then he made a mention of the lady, you were scolding at me when I was washing her underwears, right?
Okay.
He said, I know that dad usually shout on you, and the domestic violence thing, but that's not how marriage should be like. That's not how it should be like. It's a partnership, right? So while you were just talking, I just sort of remember how he grew up seeing his dad, beat his mom.
And then he told himself,
this is wrong. And then while I was watching that, I know for sure that there are people who grew up like that. They see that, and then they sort of bring it into their relationship.
They see it as normal, pretty much.
They see it as normal, and they just bring it into their relationship, So that's where the whole domestic... Where do you think domestic violence came from?
Honestly, I even feel like culturally, culturally to some extent, it is when encouraged.
What culture? I'm lost.
Okay, there's some cultures, maybe not a lot, but there's some African cultures whereby beating of your wife is, I wouldn't say encouraged, but it's not really frowned at.
Okay.
So no, but that one is in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but some people still have that in their systems, one way or the other. I don't know how it makes sense, but to them it makes sense because it's culture. So
having that patterns like over and over and over, and it might not even be only in the family, like you just grew up. So I grew up in Benin, right? And one of the things that we used to sort of have like here while we're growing up is that Benin girls, they're always traveling to Italy, and they never stay in their husband's house. I just had to bring it up here.
Okay.
You know, so with that, when some guys just hear that, oh, where are you from? I'm from where I'm from. Where did you grow up? I grew up in Benin. They sort of just frown, like they have this thing at the back of their mind, like, all these girls, they will not be serious, all of that. And then you sort of bring it into the relationship and just miss the point of having to meet a girl who's just genuine,
Honestly, I want to blame people for, like, I don't know, maybe for arriving at conclusions when they hear certain things, because one way or the other, it actually plays its roles in our lives. I don't know, let's remove the whole relationship of a thing. Maybe growing up, maybe our parents would tell us, oh, you're supposed to come first in class, you must pass and all of that stuff. And some people will so carry it on their heads that in school like this, I must be first. If I go home like this, my dad will ask me, do they have two heads and all of that thing? And they carry it almost everywhere. In the workspace, they're like, nah, I must do better than this person because it's not out of place, right? It happens almost all the time. So what the problem then is if those negative, looking at the negative ones now, if those negative things come into your relationship, your partner complains about it, and you're looking, this is who I am. And there's always that issue of this is who I am, I'm not shaking for anybody. Then what are you really doing? Honestly. So
and those kind of, thank God you hold that thought. And those kind of thing, when you're not in the relationship space, it sort of now becomes a competition between you and your partner. Your partner is like, relax. Yeah. I mean, we're in a point, it's sort of like a partnership. There's no one that's going to be, we're not supposed to be, am I supposed to be above you or you're supposed to be above me, sort of?
Because at some points, you actually need to remove some of those things and then just decide, okay, is this me? Is this how I'm going to relate with my partner? Regardless of whether or not, my parents or my siblings were this way when I was growing up and all of that. Yeah, maybe you experienced some traumatic things. You'd actually have to come out of those things because it's not your partner's job to help you with that. Well, although they can, but it's not their responsibility per se to get you out of those. So when you're having the mindset of, this is what I am accustomed to and nothing can change it, it can then distort the flow in which your relationship is to go. Right. Pretty much.
Okay, so let's talk about communication and how you express love in general.
The basicest of the basics.
They express love. You know how some families, I'm going to use the movies now because I feel like...
How about you use yourself?
No, we're not using myself now.
How do you express love to your partner?
If you are watching this video, I am my partner. I'm not saying it. It's for us. Bedroom Diaries Part 2.
Anyway.
But anyways, you know how you see, like, in some movies, foreign, Nigerian, just see how two couples with your children, you see how the man wakes up in the morning, or he meets the woman in the dining, she's cooking, he goes on, he loves on her, kisses her, and then just moves away, just to go do his regular thing.
Yeah.
That's his own way of expressing love. Now, the children, they're growing up, they're saying that. They're like, oh, okay, this is so cool if I'm doing this with my dad or with my husband.
Though.
What? That's not you.
That's not what usually happens in Nigerian homes.
Oh, God. Well, we'll come to that part because I feel like African dads and moms.
How they do their things.
It's so different. I honestly... Come to even think of it. Come to think of it.
You won't see anything.
Put it down in the comment section if you are an African dad, an African mom, you are watching this episode.
How did you guys express love?
Express love to each other.
How did you know that your parents were in love?
Do you know? Like how?
Because if I'm going to talk about mine, I would be like, I'm not sure.
No, I know there are times. I know there are times where I see, when my mom is going out, I just see my dad. My dad will just stand. I'll be looking at her in my mind. I'm like, yeah, loving on your wife. See where you're admiring her. All of that. I see that. But is that sort of like a way of expressing love? I don't know. But I know I just see that.
Sounds like your dad was just admiring her. Oh, my baby.
And they're like, she's growing up like this. People are going to be looking at her,
Pretty well.
But that kind of thing. But let me just use the movies because I feel like sometimes what happened in movies usually would happen when it comes to a normal life. Sometimes. Right? So when the kids see that, they sort of, okay, so it's okay. I can,
children pick
love
up on
everything. Love on my partner, and just, it might not even be their partner. They would start expressing that to their
siblings,
their friends in school,
like
all of that they do, and then they just grow to be adult, like grow with that kind of stuff, and then just grow into adult, and it's just like that. But then imagine meeting someone of opposite.
Where they're like robots.
That's a clash. Where there's no sort of attachment. There's no sort of attachment in the family. Nothing like that. Those people, they'll be so distant. That kind of relationship. Your partner is trying so much to love on you, but then you're not giving the vibe. Oh God, no, I don't want to be in that kind of relationship.
That's someone would not say, our relationship was toxic. But it's not. Is
that what they call toxic?
No. Very recently, I spoke to one of my friends, and she was telling me, when I was in a relationship with this guy, he did not say anything like "I love you." He did not express love. He wasn't vulnerable and all of that. And my own is, there are a lot of factors that would have influenced that. But in her mind, she's not like, this was toxic for her because she did not feel loved because he never said it. So but I don't know. At the end of the day, I always look at her as a very stupid person because how are you with somebody for 1-2 years? I think it was even 3 years. And she was still inside.
And he never said, I love you? Ooh, that's deep. That's really deep.
So so there are then different ways that one can, it doesn't even have to be with the whole, maybe once in a while you need to hear the I love you everything. But it could be with actions. It could be with, I got you this. And pretty much just making the person know that, yes, you're on my mind and you're not irrelevant to me. And I know you always do this appreciation thing. What's the word? Appreciate me, show me off.
But then you have to know that somehow, how did he grow up if he's not able to say I love you? Like, because some people would never say, like, they will never say I love you thing, but their actions will tell.
Yeah, but I think for his case, it's that his last babe messed him up.
Oh, that's different. But that's what we're talking about still. It might not just be the whole upbringing. It might not be the family thing.
Different things can actually influence it because it's all in all. It's not only your family that influences you. The kind of environment you even grow up in can influence how you see life, how you then project it with the people you're with the people you spend a lot of time with, and everything just blends into almost everything.
Yeah, exactly. So let's divert into communication. There. This is so funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use myself. Jeez.
Finally, she uses herself.
While growing up, when I was in secondary school, I had friends we were classmates, and my class, we were not. I was an art student, and we're not so much in the art class.
Really?
So okay. Most people are just pushing to science.
Science. Let's be like serious students.
Exactly. So we're not so much, but I noticed that it was getting. I think it was just becoming my lifestyle. I was not so open to talking about how I feel. I wasn't open to that. I wasn't open to, because there are times where my classmates would, do some certain things, and I'll just look at them. I'm like,
you walk away.
I'll just walk away. Yeah. So growing up, I got used to that.
I'm sure you were thinking, yes, I'm matured. Yes, I am the bigger person.
Let me know. I don't want to dive deep into my childhood.
Sometimes show that you are mad. Yes.
Do you know this thing you just said? Honestly, I don't know how to fight. I don't know how to quarrel. Because I just grew up with, let's allow it slide.
I'm the easygoing type.
And in I think it played some part in my relationship. And then when I tried to now become the opposite, like let me show that I'm even mad, it became an issue.
Oh, because the person was already used
to me being quiet. So the whole communication thing, it was like this and like this. So that's how I grew up.
Yeah, also sorry to the guy that had to deal with that. Because myself, I'll be like, what's wrong with this babe? Normally, you do usually keep quiet now. Why are you shouting on my head now? Stop.
And it's not my fault. It's just how I grew up, and with the people around me, they were not even open to have that conversation with me. And the people in my class, like, there were this talkatives,
yes,
you know.
Students. We have a reputation.
Yeah. How was I an art student and I was not able to shout or talk or even communicate? Like, it's crazy. But then that's how I grew up, and that's how it played.
Hopefully, you were able to come out of it.
Yes,
because now
I mean, with growth and with learning, I was able to now communicate well.
See, that is exactly what we're talking about. You don't have to be limited to what you know or what you've been accustomed to. You can always unlearn things that are not necessary, learn new stuff, and then grow with your partner. I think you had a good partner. Or it was a different one that you...
A different one, actually.
These are the issues.
I was waiting to say that thing.
She has been saying that off camera. These are the issues. You need to tell me where you heard that thing from. But
it's a long story.
Hold that. Yeah. Hold it. Okay, so after communication, we need to talk about... I feel like this is a very sensitive topic. And on Bedroom Diaries, we kind of like talk about it off camera a bit. Money.
I think there are like a lot of things surrounding money.
Money.
And there are some things we cannot come and openly say on how we view money.
There are people in their relationships. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm in their relationship to know what is going on. But I feel like money,
paramount.
Money is something that will cause some type of issues, because there are people who grew up like, oh, mom is taking us for, or we're going on a vacation, or we're going to this. And then there are people who they grew up in that kind of household that we're not going to which vacation. There's money, save it for a rainy day. You know, that kind of thing. And then you now meet someone you're not in a relationship with. Of course, you're getting into a relationship. That's by the way. You're not looking at his money. You're looking at other factors too that, you know, there are good qualities to be in a relationship. But then money. But then you get into this relationship. You're not with someone that believes in you have money. What are you traveling for? Invest. That can. But you're someone that likes to travel, and you know, all of that can cause issues. Oh,
I think this money of a thing we're talking about it because it's like one of the most important things when it comes to being in a relationship with someone. I think we even talked about it at one point. So it's not even something you can disregard and say. I think at some point, couples even have to, even before marriage, couples even have to come together and be like, oh, how do we go about things this way? When it comes to certain things, how do we deal with it financially, and all of that? All those discussions have to be had. And there are situations whereby, of course, because we're talking about upbringing, whereby, oh, it's only daddy that pays for stuff. And mommy is in the kitchen and all of that. And then they expect that in their relationships. But then maybe with the single people that are raised by single mothers or single parents and all of that, maybe they have a different view to it. And maybe there are also people that, oh, it was the uncles and aunties that were providing for things and all of that. So different ideologies here and there, conflicting or blending, whichever one it is, but it also plays its role in your relationship, because if you're not now able to figure out how you're going to deal with it in your relationship, it's not one of those things that you can say, oh, let me wing it, or they're just going to see how it goes, because money is a very touchy subject. Me, I know for a fact that when it comes to money, I don't like talking about it, despite the fact that I'll say, if he doesn't have money, I'm not going to do anything.
Let me tell you my recent relationship with money.
Yeah.
Money is comfortable around me. That's what I tell myself. Like, I see, as much as I want to be with someone who is honest, all of that A to Z kind of list.
Personality, he must.
Money too plays a role. A friend of mine would say,
"Nah, money,
where money there, love is sweeter." Like, you know. So money plays a huge role.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
It does play a huge role. So if I'm with someone who, loves to save, and probably spend on himself, like you said. Their father had like a lot of money and not spending for their mom. Their mom is in the kitchen doing all of the stuff, you know. But I really can't remember the person who posted that. But on social media, the person was saying that, you know, dad went out and he bought himself a new pair of shoes. Coming back home, the mom has been wearing this particular, like she doesn't have new shoes, and he's coming back home with this, showing his wife, honey, look at what I bought for myself. and then he didn't buy anything for her. And she's like, where is my own? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I have to be with that kind of partner, oh God. I'm taking that shoe back to the store where you got it from, and I will
collect the money back.
Even they're not going to give me food.
Settle myself one way or the other.
You get, so that definitely, it definitely has an issue in your relationships. So I feel like money is some of the things that play a huge role in your relationship based on how you grew up or things that has happened in your surroundings, right? Money.
I think like in terms of money, these are like maybe one of the aspects you might have to even disregard how you've, the kind of relationship you've had with money growing up.
Right.
Because it plays very little role with how you then relate to your partner on that level. That's speaking money. Because that, you can't really bring that into a new or a different kind of relationship. Money is, man, it has its own personality, I have to say. It has its own personality.
It has its own personality,
so
right?
It's that kind of situation where forget what you know and just deal with what you're in and figure it out there and then.
Because every day people's needs and wants grow, it changes. So how you deal with money or how you dealt with money while growing up, what you think, you know, when our parents tell us, save money, don't use money, don't do this one. They gave you money, come and give it to me. You know that kind of thing.
That's the same thing they said with, you think you are saving for your next of kin. Next of kin go chop the money.
Exactly.
It's not easy for anything. Eat your money now.
You know,
that kind of thing.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you need, I mean, that mindset has to go. It's growing old. It's growing really old. Okay, so let's dive into values and lifestyle. And this is where we're really going to talk about, would I probably say character? You know, so while growing up, I know that there's this, I sort of, you see why, I don't know why I like relationships like this. Because at a certain point in my life, I was just reading books on relationship love. I'm like, what's happening to me like this?
Well, love is a universal language. So.
Right.
So it's not out of place.
So there was this video I was watching, and it was like one of the things that you should look out for in a partner is how they treat other people around you. For example, you and your partner, you're going to a restaurant and your partner is shouting on the waitress or the waiter. If your partner is doing that, if that is a pattern, then it has to be something that you should think about, because one day that person would do the same thing to you, you know? Yeah. So values.
It said, watch the way your partner or whomever deals with people they do not need anything from.
Right.
In terms of if that person cannot help them, how do they treat that person? Because the moment it gets to that point in your relationship, because it might actually get to that point in your relationship, how will you then be treated? So these are the things that you have to look at. And then, you said philosophy, right?
No. Values and lifestyle.
Values and lifestyle.
Where's your head? Your head should be in the game.
But values, lifestyle, how they view things, because it's definitely going to affect you. Almost some of these things, to some extent, they are set in stone. Before you can change it. Just like, let me use the example of learning a language. It's very easy for a child to learn a language. In fact, they can learn up to like 3 languages simultaneously. They're children. It's at that point their learning capacity once you pass a certain stage, maybe once you're 10, once you're getting to 15, it becomes very difficult for you to pick up a new language. So it's pretty much just like that. How you're brought up in terms of the kind of characters you've built, the personality you have, the way you view a lot of things. Once it gets to a certain point, it becomes so hardened, so cast, that before you can change it, a lot serious work has to be put in.
Right. And for example, if your partner is not the forgiving type, trace it. These
are things you must pick up.
Because
if you enter,
it's in their childhood, it's either they're around people who, for example, maybe you go out to church, or you just go out and in their neighborhood they see people fighting. So I'm not going to talk to you again, and then they just grew up with all of that. Like, trace it down. There's always an atom of
some of these things, once you pick up on them,
of it.
Once you pick up on them, if it's not something that is a deal breaker for you, start trying to fix it.
Right.
Start trying to fix it, because the whole process in itself, because of course your partner even has to want to fix it, himself or herself, whoever the person might be. Your partner has to fix it himself, and then you guys work together to fix it. Because if the both of you are not on the same page, then of course conflict, and someone might not then get to the point where they are thinking, I can't do this anymore. So the values and the way they view a lot of things will then affect how they're going to treat you. Because they might think, this thing, there's nothing wrong with this now. If I talk to you like this, you should not feel hurt, because my intention was not to hurt you and all of that, but you are telling the person, but this hurts me, and then they're like, that kind of thing. So that's just an example. There could be a myriad of things. So how it then plays into your relationship, whether it's positive or negative, all of these things have their foundations to some extent in how they were brought up. That is why when people ask, "Babe, where are you from?"
Is that question, where are you from?
I don't like answering it.
Let me tell you something. Someone recently asked me that question. The person said, "What's your name?" And I told the person my name. "Where are you from?" And I told the person, "You, where are you from? What's your name?" You know, that kind of thing. Because now they will trace it down to, what have I heard about these people?
I heard that you people, because my people were known for sharp mouths, not insults.
Right.
So whenever people ask me where are you from, I'll be like, why? Why are you asking?
Exactly.
So if their reason is that, then I'll tell them. If not, they'll arrive at, okay, that is why. And then So all of these things, they have their origins. We cannot ignore that. They're actually real. So if it's something that can be worked on, work on it. If you cannot deal with it in your relationship, walk away.
Walk away from the relationship if you cannot deal with it. But that's why I know for sure that human beings need to constantly grow out of certain things. Look,
you don't need to keep evolving. No?
Yeah, you have to keep evolving. You don't need to be in a relationship first of all to even know that this is sort of like a pattern, right? Well, your everyday, it sort of plays in your everyday thing, your everyday lifestyle, your everyday living.
But sometimes you actually have to. Someone has to tell you before you know.
All of the people that you tell them and they're not willing to learn. They're not willing to. That's just how I am.
That's another thing.
Yeah, that's just how.
That's another thing.
I saw this guy's post. This influencer. What's his name? Eniola. That's his name. Yeah. When he was saying, but this time he was talking about the zodiac sign. Yeah. When he was saying that.
This is my star sign.
This is Cancer. This is how we are. You know, that kind of thing. So no, that is not how you are. You need to constantly evolve.
You can change things about yourself. You can learn how you relate with your partner, how you treat your partner, and vice versa.
We are going, before we close this episode, we are going to go into what I tagged here as like a call to action. And I'm saying that I know in the first episode on Bedroom Diaries, where we talked about healing after a breakup, I know I mentioned there are times where you need to sit down and think about all the patterns that have played in your relationships. And if you leave this relationship into this relationship, you need to figure out why this relationship ended. Yeah. And you're in another relationship, what could probably be the pattern, right? So before we close this episode, one of the things that made me start communicating well, which I want to share with you, and I feel like it's a good mechanism
to share.
I feel like it's a good technique or good mechanism. Is I started journaling how I felt.
Oh more.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard for a lot of Nigerians.
I know, but it's a good look.
For a lot of Nigerians.
Why is it that they say Africans or Nigerians don't read and they don't write? But it's a good look. It's one good thing that I think
I said that in terms of a lot of times we do not understand our feelings, let alone being able to write them down. So that's why I said that.
But that was one of the things that really helped me, because I knew for sure that I was used to bottling things up. Like I would just bottle it up and bottle it up.
So you started expressing to your book.
Yeah,
Not your
exactly.
partner as well.
So journaling is something that worked for me, and I feel like, look, learn it. But if you cannot do that, talk about it, communicate. Because oftentimes I know that we might find ourselves with partners that it's not easy to talk to. Never mind. Still try to communicate. There's therapy section.
See, even regardless, we've said this like 1 billion times. If you cannot communicate with your partner, don't leave. You shouldn't be with somebody that you cannot communicate freely with. Come on.
What if they're so in love with them?
So in love that what? So in love that I can't talk to you. What kind of love is that? I don't want. Honestly, I don't want.
But yeah, if you cannot communicate with your partner, I mean, why are you in that relationship?
Why are you in that relationship, please?
So
dump him. I just heard that term.
She's joking. Dump, that's a strong word. Talk about it. If your partner is not willing to communicate, then you can dump him. You move. Or her. But yeah, guys, we've come to the end of today's episode.
It was a good episode.
It was what?
It was a good episode.
Okay, yeah.
I hope you guys learned 1 or 2 things from everything.
Right. I think this episode was full of love and light and laughter and everything, and that's why she's stuck up like this. But anyways, yeah.
Anyway, we've come to the end of the episode now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Sharing is very important. See, I don't understand how you're going to watch something, learn 1 or 2 things from it, and you do not want anybody else to learn from it.
Upbringing.
Like, oh, yes, you see? It could be part of your upbringing that you need to unlearn.
Right.
Yes, you need to share.
Right.
So share it. We are Bedroom Diaries. We talk about love and relationships and all of those stuff.
Period. We love. She's stuck.
I'm not stuck. I can never be stuck in Jesus' name. On that note, we say bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.